let's talk about an interesting concept between the difference between rich and poor people. Now, this is a distinction that most people don't realize. A lot of rich people who are consistently rich either know how to consistently make more money or know how to manage their money so that they don't blow it all. Now, this is a huge concept because a lot of poor people only know how to spend and use up all their money, which is one of the reasons, not the only reason, that they're poor. Now, this may seem like common sense, but when you really think about it, you'll start to get it. Think about $1 million. Now, a lot of poor people would say $1 million is a lot. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about that sort of ever-chasing phenomenon you have where you're constantly looking for more money, and no matter how much money you have, it's not enough because there's always someone with more money than you. No, that's a different psychological phenomenon that I will talk about in another video. What I'm talking about is simply $1 million. You can replace $1 million with any amount, 10 million or 5 million, anything under 10 million as of the current state would be a good example. So for this example, I'll use $1 million. That's a lot of money to a lot of people. $1 million. The problem is a lot of people win this amount or close to this amount and they're poor. So their mindset is, this is an extremely high amount of money. I will be rich forever. I'm rich now. I've won the lottery. I've won this game show. I've won $1 million minus tax, which sometimes ends up being 400,000 or 300,000, but you get the picture, right? So they have all this money. Well, first off, 300,000, you can spend that easily and you're broke again. So you can see where this is going. $1 million, same sort of concept. And so what I'm getting at here is that a lot of poor people have a mentality, and not just a mentality, but a lack of knowledge on how to manage and use their money. And because of this, you'll see that a lot of people who win the lottery or gain a lot of money who were poor initially, they end up losing it very quickly. And by losing it, sometimes it just means that they spend it all, and then all of a sudden they wake up and they realize, holy crap, I just spent $1 million like it was nothing. And this sort of stuff happens. Like, think about it. There's so many items you can buy nowadays that can eat up a lot of that really quickly. A decent car, like there are plenty of cars that cost more than $1 million, so that in itself causes a lot of problems. And so you get the picture. And so a lot of the rich people who are consistently rich over many years, they have this, not only a mentality, but either they have a process where they can generate more so that they can afford to spend so much, or two, they can manage that lump sum of $1 million well so that it's not eaten up completely, and they limit their expenses and so forth. And it's really quite funny because there's a lot of decent people out there who win tremendous amounts of money, either through tournament winnings or I don't know, lottery. And by tremendous I mean like $300,000 or something like that. And they make the wise decision of saving it. But nowadays, that amount is simply a leg up. I mean, it's a tremendous leg up to a lot of homeless people, but to a lot of average people, it's a small leg up, and that's it. Why? Because $300,000, sure, you decided to save all of it. Good for you. You're a smart person, but realize, like, you spend a lot of money on expenses just to stay alive every year. So just multiply that by a few years and 300,000 can go pretty quickly. Obviously it varies depending on how spoiled you are and how much expenses you can afford to live on a yearly basis without feeling unsatisfied. But it can range tremendously, you know. People learn to live within their means, but even then, 20,000, 30,000 $40,000 per year is not out of the question. And honestly, like just a few years and that lottery winning amount, those lottery winnings or tournament winnings are eaten up just like that. And so that's the first thing, a mentality difference. And so when I realized that, it turns the perspective so that you realize that, okay, $1 million really isn't that much. Like, it is, but if you have the fortune of not dying from diseases, contracting cancer, or any of that other stuff, which isn't rare these days at all. You could be hit by a bus, you could be shot by a gunman, plenty of things, contract illness, freak accident. If you have the fortune of living for up until 60 years of age or 70 years of age, that's a lot of time to eat up your cash. So $1 million, not that much. And so the rich people, they really have two things. They have some sort of money making earning machine that they can generate more money, and therefore they don't have that anxiety of burning it up. And at the same time, they have that mentality and that knowledge to know what to do with their money, so that their money generates more money, and slash or their money doesn't just get eaten up really quickly. Some people do it through cutting down on expenses. Others do it through special means. They either cut down on expenses when no one's thinking about it, and they appear rich. That's niche market, but some people do it. And then there's others who just, they know how to use their money to make more money, so that anything they spend isn't a problem because they can make it back. And that's one of the big things. And so I would say, as of the current year, $1 million, not that much. I would say anything under 10 million, I'm a little bit uneasy about. Okay, sure. Okay, anything above 5 million, I guess you'd be somewhat good with, and you shouldn't be scared of losing it all too quickly. But anything under 5 million, again, it's like, if you have a poor person's mentality and you don't know how to utilize your money, you don't have some sort of earning machine behind it, you can attract a lot of problems, including a lot of tricksters and people who will take your money and use it effectively, and in reality just completely blow it out of the water. And I guess my advice to any of you is just keep it very safe, and only do like the very safe stuff. Read up on intellectual knowledge. A lot of financial advisors are kind of fishy as well, in my opinion. So you could run into some tricksters there, but again, that it could be better than not having any financial advisors. And there's a lot of other things. But again, most people watching this video, if not all of them, are in neither of these categories. In fact, they've won $0. They're probably not going to win the lottery, and they're not rich. And so they're probably asking, well, what about us? Are we screwed even more because we don't have these sort of things? And as you just delineated, you can eat up a lot of expenses pretty quickly. Well, obviously you're not lost completely, but I definitely do think that there's definitely things you can do to improve and save up your money and use it effectively. Obviously, there's a lot of common sense stuff like limiting your expenses, not spending it more than you should. But again, that's a philosophical debate. and also a debate on, well, it also depends on how financially knowledgeable are you, and how willing and motivated are you to get out there and learn about this stuff. Some people are just not destined to learn about this stuff. Why? Because they're just they would probably have more joy buying those shoes from that store or that purse from that store than doing anything else. And their mindset and how they think, like, it's kind of sad, but it's just too late for them. It's like they, like, how can you turn someone who does not like reading books, who will not even give an audiobook a chance? Like, you can convince them on and on, but those sort of people, it's almost set in their minds, like, if they don't want to change, you can't change them. So it really depends on a person. But if you want to learn more, I guess I can make more videos if I get more requests, and if I get good feedback on this topic. But again, it's just something to think about. And as for those people out there, my quick advice would just be to, if you want to prepare more for your future, for your retirement, or whatever other reason, and you do think that you will get more benefit saving it than spending the money now, then don't worry, you won't be screwed, because you have a good starting point. And depending on your motivation, you want to seek out the best books out there, because there are some crappy books out there that will enlighten you on how to save. But again, a lot of them will play into things that may just end up taking your money or losing your money. So I advise, for beginners who know very little about this, to start off with only the safest ways of saving your money or generating a little bit extra returns. So maybe just place it in your savings account at your bank, or very safe bonds. Just start there, and don't look at real estate or mutual funds, because those things are, again, it's more complicated, and 8 times out of 10, unless you are very knowledgeable, it can turn out against your favor and lose your money. So that's, long story short, that's what I would say. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, and if you like this video, share it with someone you think would benefit from this, and tell them to subscribe. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. It's free, and it will let you know when I've released my next video. I'll see you guys later. Peace.